Gervonta's knockout against Frank Martin. What'd you think of how he approached the fight and how the fight kind of evolved for him to be able to set up that shot to get him the knockout?
I think the way Tank fights, almost all of his fights, is he's one of the smartest fighters in boxing right now. You know, he starts off pretty slow, where he gives away the first 3, 4, sometimes even 5 rounds. He's been behind on a lot of his fights on the cards, but he does it purposely. It's not like he's doing it because he's frustrated, he doesn't know what to do. He's doing it because he starts off slow, but he's just figuring out his opponents, figuring out every movement. There's very, very few fighters that could do that, man. You know, you have to be very technical and very smart, and the big plus is that he's got tremendous power. When he lands, he's gonna hurt. So I think right now he's unstoppable. I think any of the champions at 135 will be in trouble when it comes to fighting Tank. He's just so smart. You know, a lot of fighters start slow, but if you don't have the power, you give away the first 5 or 6 rounds, then you're in trouble. You either have to win every single round to have a draw, or you have to win, you know, drop your opponent once to get an extra point. He does that knowing that he's going to knock them out. You know, one punch away from knocking them out, and he's done it. He's doing it over and over. You know, so you got to respect that. He's a very smart man.
So how do you counteract like someone that has so much power? Like we've seen like with the heavyweights, like with Fury and others, they just backed Wilder back. I know Wilder's limited, and I'm not trying to compare him to Gervonta. Gervonta is so much more skilled, but with a power puncher, do you have to back him up? Like what do you do to stop them from pressuring you and teeing off on you like that?
You know what? I don't know, because one day I might go against them. As I have some lightweights that are really good too, 140 pounders that are really good, that one day you never know, might even face him. And I know what I would do, but you just have to be in great shape, because you know you might be able to get away with winning the first 5 or 6 rounds, but then you're in trouble. You know, especially if you're not in shape, especially if you're a little fearing his power, if you're a little worried about his power, then there's no chance. You have to have that mentality where I'm gonna beat him, and there's nothing that's gonna stop me. Yeah, he's so strong, but you know, I'm gonna know how to hold him when he gets close to me. I'm gonna know how to back him up, maybe push him back. You know, you have to know that, and you have to have the fighter that's willing to do it, because the trainer could do everything possible, but if the fighter doesn't do it, then there's nothing anybody could do. The fighter has to want to do it. Is it possible? Yes. Do I see anybody doing it anytime soon? I don't think so.
They're talking Lomachenko, and I know you're really familiar with Vasiliy Lomachenko. At this age, at this point of his career, can Lomachenko beat a Gervonta?
I think 5 or 6 years ago, I would have picked Lomachenko right away. Right now, it might be too hard to. I think, you know, at his age and his size also, because he's not that big of a lightweight. I think I'd have to favor Tank. His power, you know, is just unbelievable. But Loma's got great skills, man. Loma's the one that will not be afraid of him. Loma's the one that will be in great shape. So if he fights smart and knows how to win the first few rounds, and then fight smart the rest of the fights, the rest of the rounds, then there's a chance he could pull it off. You know, Loma's great. He's a very smart man. But I just think Tank's power is going to be too much.
Yeah, like when I look at that fight, like stylistically, it has a lot to do with how Lomachenko handles the power over the course of 12 rounds. Like he could maybe handle it well in the beginning, but like what happens in 10, 11, 12, and how he can handle it, right?
That's very true. Very true. And Loma's so skillful, man, that he could do it for 12 rounds. But when you have somebody like Tank in front of you, it's not going to be easy. It won't be easy.
My last thing for you, Robert. To you, how did David look in his debut at light heavyweight? I know he revealed that he had a hand injury and a cut, and he felt that kind of stopped him from getting the result that he wanted. But how did he look to you in this new weight?
I do think that you know, that had a lot to do. You know, obviously, when somebody fights with injured hands, well, you can't perform. When somebody fights with a cut, which I know for a fact he did have a cut, you have that in your mind where, man, what if it opens up again, which it did, you know, stuff like that. It's always going to be a fight where you're not going to have your best performance. But taking all that away, I still seen a big difference in size when it comes to even though it's only 7 pounds, Vostok was.
He looked big.
They look big, man.
bones are
They're
thicker.
they're too
Yeah.
big, and even though Benavides is a huge super middleweight, I think those 7 pounds, it's a big difference because Vostok looked too big, and I think that's too big for Benavides. Can he still compete? Can he still beat the rest of the champions? I think he could, but they're not going to be easy. I think at 168 he's much better. He's the monster that we know. At 175, I don't think we'll see the monster that we see at 168. But I still see him winning. I think he could still beat Bivol or Beterbiev. I think he could beat either one of them, but they would be tough fights. They won't be easy fight. I think at 168, I prefer him at 168.
I think it's because the extra 7 pounds, because the guys are bigger, they could take the punches better from David. But I don't know. Maybe with time, David grows in more into the division, right?
I think he could grow into the division. He's very fast. He could
Put on that a little bit of that size, right?
and maybe not even go out there and look for knockouts. Maybe at light heavyweight he can't be the monster anymore. But he's so fucking fast that he could out punch anybody. He spars 25 rounds each day. You got 5-6 guys lined up just spar him. So he could go out there and just outbeat his guys with so many punches, so many combinations. Maybe not go out there and look for the knockouts. At 168, he's a monster. Maybe at 175, he's not the monster that we expect. But he's so fast and if he's in great shape, he'd go out there and dominate too.
All right. Hey, Robert, man, I don't want to take up much more of your time. I know you got to fight and you got to attend to your fighter as well. Robert Garcia, Marcos Vegas here in Las Vegas.